Now for our borrowed fly, we'll move across to England for Goddard's Caddis. And the reason for having a number of caddis patterns, this fly is particularly good for fast water caddis pattern because it's so darn buoyant, isn't it?
With deer hair, it's extremely buoyant.
Yeah. Well, let's see how to tie it.
Okay, I will use the brown saddle hackle again. This time I have an old dyed genetic butt section, basically I call it. It's off the neck. And I'll also use deer hair. Again, I have a standard dry fly length hook in the vise. I'm going to take a clump of deer hair, clip it off. Deer hair is extremely buoyant. Deer hair is fun to work with. Also, I enjoy it. A lot of people go a little ballistic when they see it stand up on
why
edge.
didn't you use deer hair for the elk hair caddis?
It flares too bad.
Yours?
It flares too bad.
Because it's hollow.
That's correct. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to trim this off straight. There I've got a straight section there. I'm going to stick the scissors between my thumb and first finger and trim those tips off that are under there. Now I know that's rather difficult to see, but trust me, I didn't cut my thumb or finger off. They're there.
Why did you do that?
I want them straight for the rear.
Huh.
It doesn't really make that much difference because I'm going to trim them off anyway, but now here I'm going to go. I have a very, very soft wrap. I have not tightened at all. I'm going to do one more around. Now I'm hanging on tightly to the hair. I'm not going to let it spin. My thumb and finger. See what happens when I start to pull? See it flare? I am not going to let that go around the hook. It is going to stay right where it is. And I'll put 9 or 10 turns in there. Now I'll let go and I'll take my thumb and finger and pull those butts out of the way.
Now
and
those
stand
turns
that
of
up.
thread were tight on each other. They weren't moving through the material.
Not yet.
Yeah.
I will next time. Now to make sure I really have that locked in place, I'll just take a half hitch tool, make a little half hitch there, and I'm going to get another clump of deer hair. Again, I'm going to get rid of what underfur and short stuff is in there, clip it straight, and clip it straight. You don't need those tips on there. They just get in the way, especially for what I'm going to do now. I'll lay it on here, and now I'm just going to let it spin. That whole thing will go around that hook. Now I'm going backwards into that first clump that I tied on. What that does, it just marries those two clumps of hair together. It makes a very tight body. Now again, I'll move the hair out of the way and get my thread in front. I'll take the half hitch tool and I'll just put 2 or 3 quick half hitches
Now you're really not
here.
packing it, are you?
No, I'm not, but you can use that. If you felt you had a loose wrap in there, you could pack that hair tightly with that. I'll cut that thread, and now I'm going to turn it over. There's a little bit sticking through here. And I'm going to trim that belly exactly flat. That does 2 things. First thing it does is you have to open that hook gap up or you could never catch a fish. Second thing is it trims it flat so it's going to sit easier in the water. Now I'm going to put it back in the vise backwards.
Now, why did you spin the front hair but not the first clump?
I want that first clump that I put on back here in the back to make the tail of the caddis or the extended body of the caddis. That way it doesn't spin, it stays right on top of the hook, makes it very nice to spin. Okay, now what I'm going to do is just stick my scissors in here, make a clip on top. Remember how a caddis body is? It's tapered, small at the front, large to the rear. That's what we're basically doing here.
Oh, you're on the underside of the hook there?
No, I'm on just on the side.
Okay.
Now I'll come around to this side and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just getting rid of all that hair in there. Now I'm going to rotate the vise just slightly because there's a few long hairs on this side.
You know, that's a nice advantage of a rotary vise.
You can do it with the other, but this makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
And then I'll just keep trimming just till I have a nice round body. I've got one little long piece here. And then what I'm going to do on this rear section, remember how the caddis looks like a little tint at the back?
Over the whole thing. The wing, that's the wings down, yeah.
Yes, I'm going to trim that this way. I'm going to trim it this way. I've just kind of made a little V out of it. Now I'm going to come in here. I'm going to trim it up this way.
Up from the back, that's the back of the wing.
That's the back. And then here I'm going to go straight down. Got
Well,
a
it's
few stragglers there.
obvious why that thing is going to float so well.
Oh,
It's all
certainly.
that hollow deer hair,
Yes.
and you've got a body and a wing, but it's all deer hair.
And now what I'll do is I'll turn it back around, put it in the hook again the way it's supposed to be. And I'm going to change thread. I'm going to go orange thread this time.
Why?
Oh, a lot of the caddis will have a little bit of an orange cast to them. It's easier to see through
I
their
guess people
hackle
tying at
wraps.
home could have used orange
Use
the whole
whatever
time.
you
couldn't
could
they?
use
Yeah.
orange the whole time. I just like to use the white as it goes through that light colored deer hair.
Well, now don't kid me. I happen to know you've got a big supply of that white
No,
you've got to use
yes,
up
I
too and get
do.
rid of.
Yeah, I do have some. Now what I've done here is I've taken 2 of the stems, the feathers, off of this butt section.
Uh-huh.
What I'm doing with it, I have stripped all the hackle off of it,
Oh, yeah.
and now I have nothing left but the 2 hackle stems. I'm going to tie those in place.
You know, the nice part about stripping those hackle, rather than using some dyed nylon fibers or whatever else you could use, is you get a real broken color.
Very broken,
From
yes.
a dyed hackle and strip the fibers off, and it looks natural.
Very natural,
Because
yes. You can
most
see
things
the
in nature aren't
segmentation.
a flat, dyed, solid color. They have that broken appearance.
You can see the definite segmentation.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to trim them off. Now there's the length. And again, the length, you can go about whatever length you feel comfortable
But
with.
of course, on a real caddis, the antennae are very prominent.
Yes, they are.
You can see them when these crazy little things are flying around. They're crazy flyers. They,
Yes.
The clowns, they look like they're drunk, the clowns of the bug world.
Now here comes the brown hackle. This time I'm just going to use brown. I'm not going to mix the grizzly with it. This fly can also be tied with antelope for larger sizes.
Sure.
Antelope floats very, very well. Here comes the hackle. Now, again, you asked me why did I use the orange? I can look between the wraps of this hackle, and I can see that orange.
Yeah, nice. You know, another little feature of those hackle stems, you can shape them just by drawing your thumbnail along them and give them a little outward curvature
You can
too, like
pull
the
it,
natural.
yes, yes.
Why don't you show us how to do that? Here we go. Just
If I want to make that curve, I just place my thumbnail against it. I give a little pull, and
that's
it'll
that.
curve
That-
right
now
away.
that looks very
it'll
realistic.
curve right away. I'll do it on this back side, the same thing,
Uh-huh.
and there it is.
Very realistic.
It makes a very nice curl to it. You can stand them up a little higher. Now I'll use my whip tool on here, put a small head on it. 3 or 4 wraps is really all you need. And trim it off, and there's the fly.
Oh, that's nice. That's a whitewater fly.
And again, we use the brown saddle. We use the brown neck for stripping the antennas and deer hair.